Due to this unfortunate incident, Shelby Stanga is unable to continue entertaining audiences on the History Channel after a number of years. This is now public knowledge, despite his best efforts to keep it secret. What was concealed by Shelby Stanga? What impact will this disclosure have on the other actors who are part of Shelby's controversy? Stay tuned as we reveal this tale. Context: Shelby's early life and history are replete with tales about her enthusiasm for the outdoors. Much like the other fascinating cast members of Axemen, he was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, on January 17, 1960. He lives in more than just the city. Shelby grew up in the lovely town of Louisiana. Therefore, he has a connection to the state. His mother reared him as he had no father. How did he start? At the age of 16, he began his career. He loved to explore, so he was thrilled about his first job. As a teenager, logging didn't bother him. The employment made him very happy. Shelby lived in the forest and swamp. His passion for adventure was evident. People approached him from their workplaces because he enjoyed earning money. In exchange for money, they requested him to carry logs and timber back from the swamps. Shelby was constantly prepared to work. But if the pay wasn't attractive, things went south. He appeared on television in 2000. He made his debut on Man vs. Wild. Shelby had a captivating personality. Other producers took notice of him and offered him a contract to collaborate with them and highlight his background. That was the beginning of Shelby's History Channel career. He started working as a tree logger on the well-known show Axemen in 2008. He went on to become one of the show's most watched crew members. The Legend of Shelby the Swamp Man is one of the 3 spin-offs that Shelby gained from his fame on Axemen. He enjoyed spending his free time in the bush and adored jungle life. He was inspired by nature and acquired survival skills. He was aware that he would eventually appear on television, but it came sooner than he had anticipated. Shelby took advantage of the opportunity when it presented itself. Shelby declared that she was leaving the show after 10 seasons and 163 episodes. Fans were upset about his departure. Therefore, this was startling news. They believed it was because of health issues, but Shelby disclosed that the producers had not paid them what they had agreed to. He continued his logging work behind the scenes while taking a long vacation from the spotlight. The producers recognized that the show was different without Shelby. They brought Shelby back in a spin-off after they were unable to handle the low ratings. In 2018, Shelby the Swamp Man made a comeback. Fans were taken aback by the Swamp Man's return. They were ecstatic to see him returning to his crazy jungle adventures. They liked to watch him show off his intelligence. His audience never grew weary of him because he never stopped surprising them. Rumors of his death circulated after he made a comeback to the show. Many were shocked when Shelby succumbed to the venomous snake and snapping turtle. According to some, he died from an injury sustained while filming. The rumors created a lot of controversy and made headlines on popular blogs. Since they had seen other Axemen crew members die, true fans were concerned. In addition, they had heard crazy tales about the show's stars. Shelby, who witnessed the entire incident, was at his breaking point. He had to clear the air and reassure his fans. He disclosed that, although he had been in an accident, he was unharmed. Although fans were thankful that Shelby was in excellent physical condition, many were upset with the production staff for allowing stories to circulate and for constantly doing theatrical stunts. Shelby wasn't the only person on the show. Several more logging companies around the country were highlighted on the broadcast. They featured stories from the many cast members every day, but Shelby was the most notable. A touching moment in the show was when Shelby lost his log. He looked for his lost log for a long time, but it never made it to the mill. He discovered a massive log underwater one day. He found it to be his misplaced log when he took it out. He was a fan favorite because of his charm and work ethic. His participation on the History Channel program, Axemen, marked the beginning of his television success. But for Shelby, it was more than a show. Shelby remained the same both on and off camera. He continued to work as a logger. The stench of the old logs buried beneath Tangipahoa Parish's Betico Marsh didn't bother him. He was always prepared to exert every effort to free them. The Tangipahoa River provides a rich history of resources, including the logs that Shelby wants. The Tangipahoa Creeks suffered substantial milling between the 80s and 90s, losing precious resources. The renowned Lake Pontchartrain was reached by floating down the creek after old trees fell. The logs that sank and lay in the marsh were far more numerous than the quantity of trees used to build homes in New Orleans. They spent hundreds of years abandoned. It is possible to date the trees to 3,000 years ago. A few of the logs changed in appearance as a result of absorbing minerals from the mud. Some of the woods turned brown, yellow, blue, purple, green, and red. Shelby saw their brilliant colors. They immediately caught the logger's eye as a desirable furnishings item. He started on a mission to find and sell them to furniture makers. I'm searching for a particular kind of log. Furthermore, we have a buyer who wants everything that has been in the water for more than 50 years. What do you suppose that would cost? Ever wonder how he can find the woods by diving into the sea so easily? To assist with diving weights, he puts on 108 pounds of lead. After donning a hard hat and steel-toed shoes, I jogged along the river's bottom. Since 99% of the logs are under the mud, I attempt to fill it in with my feet. This is not all there is to it. It's merely getting ready to locate the log. When Shelby locates it, he excavates 6 to 8 feet below the surface in the soft mud. If he can't see well underwater, he could bump into a log. If his respirator is torn from his mouth on a branch, he too runs the risk of losing it. He digs, hooks the log to a barge crane, and pulls it to shore. Finally, victory. Before he started doing reality TV, Shelby Stanga would do this every day. The storyteller is adored by the audience. They know it's showtime when they see him wearing camouflage hunting boots and hear his trademark cry. Here we go. His stories of his underwater escapades are adored by the show's viewers. How he discovered treasure and sunken ships intrigues them. They enjoy Shelby's stories of his numerous gunfights, living atop massive cypress trees, and hunting snapping turtles for famous people. Although some show critics believe Shelby's statements are implausible, the images of him holding snapping turtles and poised atop tall trees appear to allay any suspicions. He also has a nice collection of antiquities, such as a coin from the Civil War, which proves that he lives underwater and has a lot of logging expertise. Man, teeth. I really hope that this son of an I enjoy extracting these teeth, doesn't get anything on my bionas from getting by the water. One day I might work as a dentist. The Axeman series. In order to highlight the tale and risks associated with work excursions, a number of logging crew members participated in a reality television program in 2008. To complete the task, they tented in jungles and ventured into isolated locations. It was challenging, but it was also exciting. It served as a source of income. As the show went on, it eventually became their signature. The moniker Axeman was never understood by many. It was the ideal term to describe the perilous situations the loggers faced during their regular quest. The show is regarded as a component of the popular television series, Real Men in Real Danger. In the UK, the History Channel was the first to broadcast it. After that, an odd event occurred. On terrestrial Channel 5, the creators changed the title. A subsequent version was introduced to Axeman. Fans who had already grown accustomed to the show and its description were perplexed. To appease the inquisitive viewers and go back in time, the show was removed from the channel. Every season had a captivating tale to tell. The event was more competitive and well organized because so many logging firms participated. Over the course of the many seasons, fans could select their favorite crew members. The competition amongst the logging corporations to maintain their operations thrilled them. The program also depicted the everyday reality and difficulties experienced by loggers. Not everything was glitzy. As they attempted to meet deadlines and make a living, they occasionally had to contend with weather, topography, and technical problems. By demonstrating the logging business's tools, methods, teamwork, and tree-felling efforts, the series concentrated on their operations. It showed how logs are transported and processed. Axeman highlighted a number of logging teams, including Ryguard Logging, Swampman Logging, and Shelby's company. Some specialized in highly logging, while others were assigned to rescue abandoned logs from waterways. One of the most interesting aspects of the event was how they airlifted fallen trees to access highways using helicopters. The loggers demonstrated their dedication despite the hazard. Their knowledge served as a reminder to the viewers of the excellence of the Axeman series. Tree pulling was prohibited for the crew members. They also made an effort to preserve the environment and safeguard natural resources. They also ensured they followed the legislation in the numerous cities they worked in. One of the proponents of wildlife conservation was Jimmy Smith. He stated in an interview that protecting today's woods is crucial to preserving tomorrow's. Despite working as a logger, he remained dedicated to protecting trees. Fans were entertained by him and Shelby. They gave the series a strong dose of competition and drama. Although there was rivalry between other loggers, fans didn't mind as it provided a unique touch to the show. They were aware that such dynamics would not be absent from a presentation, including prestigious brands. The show also focused on the everyday challenges that businesses and loggers face due to market swings. Following a number of scandals, the loggers' arrests, and their unlawful actions. There were rumors that the reality program would be canceled. The logging procedures that were shown on the show caused a lot of fans and critics to voice their concerns. Logging industry specialists were unhappy with the crew members' misrepresentation of the profession, notwithstanding their claims that they followed the standards. Loggers are said to be aware of the risks and make an effort to operate safely while on job. The show, however, was the reverse. The reality it depicted was very different. According to experts, the show gave the profession a negative name by demonstrating the many ways in which people can die while working. They insisted that the show be canceled because it portrayed loggers as irresponsible people. A few other battle axemen also came across this. The crew members' actions were also criticized by a number of environmentalists, who claimed that they were enjoying and recording the devastation of natural areas. Because the audience could readily guess the following scenario, they condemned the show and claimed it was scripted. The program ended tragically as a result of these difficulties. The terrible demise of the show was also questioned by critics. There was more than one logger or crew member involved. Critics blamed the careless actions behind the scenes for the deaths of several people who died during production. Were all of these rumors? Did the show feature any deadly mishaps or careless behavior? Learn about some of the Axemen cast members who died while filming by continuing to watch. Terrible losses. Some of the loggers and crew members lost their life in accidents that occurred on the show. Even though the show received criticism, the deaths of these cast members left their fans, co-workers, and families with nothing but sorrow. The unfortunate death of William Bart Canto was thought to be the result of murder. Born in 1959, he died on September 7, 2013, at the age of 54. As a cast member of the Axemen, he added a fresh dimension. The audience didn't want the show to stop because of him. According to the documentation, he died in a helicopter crash in Lynn County while carrying logs. At the site, his death was verified. Fans who knew him as a seasoned Navy pilot, who always gave it his all, were taken aback. He gained praise and a number of recommendations prior to his death for his outstanding heli logging abilities, which were demonstrated during Axemen seasons. William's spirit of competition was always evident. He took risks in numerous scenarios and exhibited his survival skills. He was able to solve problems. According to witnesses, he separated from the helicopter prior to the crash and fell off the log before plummeting into the forest. This indicates that he was aware of the issue prior to his crash. Fans asked the authorities to look into his death as a potential murder case, which sparked rumors. Ultimately, the authorities concluded that his death was not suspicious and ended the inquiry. Williams works with R&R Logging and featured on multiple episodes of Axemen. His memory was honored in an episode titled Axes and Allies. The first member of the cast to die was Jimmy Frank Smith. His birthday was May 3, 1956. At the age of 55, Jimmy passed away on November 2022. He fought cancer for a long period before passing away from it. The SNS Aqua Logging Company was owned by him. Since he was one of the series' highlights, many fans were moved to tears by his departure. They were unable to move over his unexpected death. A heartfelt statement of condolence was sent by the History Channel to Jimmy's family and friends prior to his November 7, 2012 burial and memorial service in Leavenworth, Washington. At Wenatchee, Washington, USA, he made an appearance in Season 5 of The Axemen, and the opening episode of Season 6 was devoted to him and his influence on the program. The fact that James Smith, his son, was also on The Axemen was not news. The viewers saw a number of episodes where they collaborated and became close. They worked well together and had a close bond as father and son. James participated with underwater logging before his father's demise. Even though many anticipated that he would succeed his father, his function was unclear until the end of the drama. Jimmy had a reputation for living his life as he saw fit and rarely caring what other people thought. Because many believed he was overly arrogant, he made more enemies than friends as a result. James really irritated his father, yet he was not one of them. The father and son were always on each other's backs, and he had a persistent discomfort in his throat. Jimmy and Smith were spotted working on themselves at the office of an anger management counselor near the end of the show. There were other controversies besides Shelby's. Although there were rumors that Jimmy and his new assistant were involved in a romantic scandal, nothing was confirmed. Many claimed it was a publicity hoax to boost ratings. The fact that Jimmy was directly vying with Rygaard Logging for contracts and the title of top logger was also not new. Other businesses, however, had to fight with smaller businesses who contested and challenged them. Before his death, Jimmy was always in competition with Shelby and Papach Alaska. He was constantly trying to demonstrate the superiority of his logging business. In any case, they all had something to prove. That was the main focus of the show. The supporters kept wanting more since it was a competitive environment. Gabe Rygaard's demotion was the next terrible event on the show. Just outside of his hometown, he died in a car accident. Gabe's white Ford Bronco collided with a car on a different road. Gabe, who was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident, died instantly. But the other passengers were treated on the spot and allowed to go. There will always be memories of the September 16 crash on the U.S. Port Angeles route. Fans and family still cherish the happy memories of Gabe Rygaard. He was only 45. Since he and Rygaard Logging Company played a significant role in the Axeman event, his passing was deeply felt by everyone. When he and his brother took over the company from their father, Craig Rygaard, he was the operations manager and worked in the office. He joined the family even though he only made one appearance in the series. Because he was laid back and competent at his work, he was adored by every crew member. His journey as the new owner of the Rygaard Logging Company was chronicled in the second season of the Axeman television series. They showed off his setbacks and victories. He was a sharp thinker who always managed to overcome the most difficult obstacles. Despite unfavorable market conditions, Rygaard consistently managed to keep the company operating. He made an effort to maintain the team's peak performance because he never wanted to fire employees. After his death, Rygaard's father was interviewed, and he had a lot to say. He talked about how cold he felt after learning about the tragedy and his son's condition. He oversaw every facet of the company and made sure everything operated well, so the family suffered a great loss. His brother, who was greatly impacted by the news, related the same story of good deeds. In memory of Gabe Rygaard, his family carried on the Rygaard Logging Company's operations, with his brother currently serving as its leader. Although excellent deeds were recognized, Gabe and the other Rygaard family members continued to be the subject of controversy. The disputes behind the scenes were questioned by media crews who worked closely with them. Was it just for the show, or was it also a part of the logging process? Many of their admirers thought this was odd, and this was their position. Others had viewed Craig and Gabe Rygaard as outstanding people, but they were unable to ignore the ongoing struggle that emerged throughout the performance. His death sparked curiosity, because the brothers were never in agreement on business issues. Their crew members, who were often at odds and participating in unhealthy competitiveness, were not exempt from the rumors. Fans were left with yet another query. Is there really that much drama in reality shows? Did Gabe's father and brother struggle to keep the business afloat because of plans he left unfinished before he passed away? The sneaker didn't seem to fit anyone perfectly. The company's heart was Gabe. He maintained order among everyone and everything. Given Jason's lack of business acumen, every error could cause the company to regress. But when Gabe was still living, the decent, dedicated team members who were invested in and devoted to Rygaard gave their all to the work. They helped him with procedures and kept the vision going. Additionally, he put in endless hours to close sales for the business. To keep them all employed, he had to find them work. The death of Van Huffman was another figure associated with the program. Van Huffman vanished during one of the logging duties, and the Papey, Alaska crew had a difficult time locating his body in the bush. Later, his body was discovered. Van was also a popular personality on the History Channel and a logger on the Axeman reality show. Since the scene was also shown on the show, the logging community was extremely alarmed by his disappearance and the discovery of his death on Sioux Island. Environmentalists, who already believed that the show was negatively depicting the logging firm and infringing on the livelihood of many ecosystems, became much more critical of him after his death. The incident didn't make it better because it confirmed the rumors that were already there. In addition to the show's unfortunate conclusion, many of its cast members passed away under appalling circumstances. Mixed responses to the broadcast have left the logging community in an unknown hush, as questions and rumors regarding its rerun continue. Workplace danger. Shelby Stanga understands the risks associated with being a logger. Shelby used to say, "I drown every load 3 times." He typically swims 18 to 20 feet deep, which is nowhere near the logs. He occasionally comes across swamps and wild animals in the water, which leaves him with multiple wounds from snake and snapping turtle bites. But Shelby, who always retaliates against the offending swamp animals, and has teeth marks on his tongue from multiple encounters where he had to bite the heads of vicious snakes, has also shown himself to be an equal opponent to the creatures, making the show fun and a great character to watch if you haven't streamed the reality show. Shelby Stanga of Axeman entertains fans with educational tips about trees and animals in the swamp. After multiple spin-offs and reruns, fans who have seen every episode still can't get enough of Shelby. They admit to laughing hard at his behavior, and they know he's not faking it for ratings or viewers because of the memorable moments when he fires the big gun and drives the big water bug. He is referred to as the survivalist by many fans, who find it thrilling that he ventured into many hazardous areas to retrieve logs. How much money do you think I'd be? Well, probably around $10,000. I'm going to do that. In 2014, he was arrested for trespassing after he chopped down a neighbor's cypress tree, which infuriated his neighbor's family. Have you ever considered Shelby's wife and family? The television personality found someone who matched his energy and love for wild living. The tree has been state property since 1963, which prompted the neighbors to call the police. He was charged with felony theft after spending a day in jail and was later released, but fans believe he has been cleared of all charges because he never spoke publicly about the incident. He married Donna Stanga in the early 2000s, and the two have been together ever since. Many fans show their love for Donna because they respect her ability to be patient with a sometimes intimidating Shelby. They live a calm and contented life together in a cozy home in Louisiana, close to Lake Pontchartrain, and they have 2 children. Though they would rather not be in the spotlight, he never thinks twice about jumping into boats and going camping with Shelby. Oh, tastes nasty, man. You got to brush your teeth when you get sucking on. They made fans love the show, and some admit they could watch Shelby for the rest of their lives. Despite her seeming softness, Donna has taken on adventures and tasks that many would find difficult. Other loggers who are fans of the show reported that Shelby keeps things honest and never allows scripts for his part of the show, which is why the show is natural and always makes fans laugh. There must be something captivating about him that keeps fans glued to their screens when the Axeman is streaming. For many, it's the genuine lifestyle. Despite his wealth, his most expensive possession may be his iPhone, because he isn't used to the opulent lifestyle. Fans claim that he needs his reality show because he was entertaining to watch. Life after the show. Despite being a well-known TV personality, he isn't used to luxury and fame, and instead prefers to sleep in a hammock and sleeping bag next to a boat launch on the Tangipahoa River. Shelby is comfortable and lives well with his family. I'm happy as long as I have bullets and chew my lip. Many fans who missed the show are interested in updates on Shelby and Axeman. Shelby enjoys fishing, hunting, and logging. Some people think Shelby has it hard, but that's not the case. Is it possible to meet Shelby Stanga? Many of his fans have been wondering if there will be any future collaborations. While some find Shelby odd for choosing such a risky and complicated job, others adore him, admire his lifestyle, and aspire to be like him. Some even claim that he is the funniest man in the world, and that you need more people like him. Fans aren't just excited to rewatch old episodes of Axeman, they're especially excited about any opportunity to see Shelby Swampman Stanga in person. With his untamed energy, memorable quotes, and strong ties to the Louisiana Bayou, Shelby became a prominent figure on the show, and his time on television helped him accumulate a net worth of about $2 million over the years. But money was never his motivation. Long after the cameras have stopped filming, Shelby still goes deep into the swamp to pull out sunken logs, just like he used to, not for the attention or the money, but because he truly enjoys the work. Logging isn't a job to him, it's a way of life. When he's not removing logs from the murky waters, Shelby can engage in conversation with locals or offer assistance around his community. Shelby has never craved attention, but he is still active on social media, sharing real, unfiltered moments with his fans who continue to follow his journey, whether he is knee-deep in mud, repairing his boat, or making jokes with a neighbor. Since leaving the spotlight of television, Shelby has chosen to live a more modest, meaningful life. For those who truly know Shelby, that story is worth watching. What do you think about Shelby Stanga? What do you think about his struggles on the show? Do you think he will be on another reality show? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. He doesn't care about the lack of a new series or big comeback. He's spending time with the people he loves, on the water, and in the woods. Before you leave, check the other videos on your screen. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to this channel.